So this is going to be the 5th 5-star predictions video that I have posted on my channel across the last 7 years. And I'll be honest guys, I have yet to complete a single one of them. If you all have been following me for a while, you will know that 5 stars are few and far between, and I used to give out way more like in the first even 5 years of my channel than I have recently. Like I've only had 4 5-star reads so far this year, and we are at the midpoint of 2024. But I think that my issue when it comes to making these videos, the reasons why I haven't completed any yet, is because I feel like I only really know myself when it comes to fantasy. And not just fantasy actually, adult epic fantasy specifically. I'm sure you guys know if you read that genre, you do not want a lot of those on the go at once. So I've actually, when I've been making this video, I've looked back at all of my other ones and refreshed myself on what books are in them. And I still stand by some of those 5-star predictions. Name of the Wind was in the first one that I ever made like 6 years ago. I still stand by that. I just have not got to it yet because I don't want to have multiple adult epic fantasy series on the go. Now, with that in mind, you would think that I would have strayed away from that genre when I made this list, but I absolutely have not, because I mean, I can read a literary fiction and give it 5 stars maybe once a year. Romance, unpredictable. I have given a book 2 stars and then the sequel, like companion novel, 5 stars. Like I cannot predict romance. Fantasy romance, a little bit better, but still, I'm just not as on the money when it comes to any other genre that is an adult epic fantasy. So yes, I have the start to a few epic fantasy series in this list. I do like to do these where there's very little precedent as well, so there's no sequels in here. I might do like a specific sequel edition in the future. And these are the books where I've been looking around my shelves and I'm like, these are the ones that I am most excited to read. Now, I do have one that by the time you're watching this, it has been released. I'm filming it a little bit earlier, so I currently do not have it, but I have pre-ordered a copy, and it is the only one on this list that is not fantasy, and that is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. So this one is her 4th STEMinist romance, which is why I can say it's a 5-star prediction, because I have given Love Theoretically, Love on the Brain, and The Love Hypothesis. I did those in the wrong order, but I've given all 3 of those 5 stars. So I feel like there is a chance that Not in Love is also going to be a 5-star for me. That being said, I feel like with Ali Hazelwood, I'm going to get to a point where I'm like, okay, no, like I've read this before. I can't keep continuing to give these 5 stars because a lot of her books are very similar, but fingers crossed that this is not going to be the one. So as I said, this one is a STEMinist romance, and I'm pretty sure it is between a female biotech engineer and the male love interest is actually not a scientist this time. I think that he is part of the finance people that are trying to buy this like department or company or project from whoever it is that owns it in the minute. That's pretty much all I know. I'm mainly there for the romance and the vibes, so when this arrives and I read it, we'll see if it is my 4th Ali Hazelwood 5-star. As a little bit of a bridge between the romance and the fantasy aspects of this video, I do have a fantasy romance, and that is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. So I have very recently read Daughter of No World, and I loved it. I did not give it 5 stars though, I gave it 4. But I ate it up and I loved the romance in there. And I have heard that this one is better. Like, of the Carissa Broadbent series, this is the one that people prefer. So I feel like I'm safe in assuming that this could be a potential 5-star for me. So this one, I don't know how long the series is going to be, but I think it's a series of duologies. So there's 2 books following this couple and then 2 books following the next couple, and so on and so forth for however long the series is. It surrounds vampires. The main female character is the daughter of a vampire king, and she is entering a tournament where she has to fight against vampire warriors from different vampire houses, and she has to make an alliance with a guy who is a threat to her father's reign. This is anything like Daughter of No Worlds, but with an enemies to lovers romance in there and a tournament. I do feel like it very much has 5-star potential. So getting into the 3 fantasy predictions, we'll start with the one that I'm the least sure about and we'll go to the one that I'm the most sure about. And knowing knowing me, I'll look foolish when the ratings come in the opposite way around. But the first one, I am purely taking on other people's opinions as opposed to me thinking for myself that I'm going to enjoy it. And that one is God Killer by Hannah Kader. So I have only heard glowing reviews about this book from people whose opinions I generally trust, and also from people who have quite similar reading taste to me when it comes to fantasy. I would not have picked this as a 5-star prediction for myself because it's short for a start, which tends to be a red flag for me with fantasy. I like my fantasy thick. I nearly said I like my fantasy like I like my thighs, and honestly, where is the lie? This one is about a god killer who's, I think their parents were murdered by a god, so they dedicated their lives to killing gods until they encounter a god that they cannot kill. So many of my friends and people I trust have rated this 5 stars. I assume because of that I'm also going to enjoy it. Is it 5-star potential? I have been burned before, so we'll see. This one is another one that I've only heard really good things about, but I do know that it is going to be a very long series, and I think only 2 books have been published so far. So if it takes me a while to get to it, I'm actually going to be fine with that. But that one is Master of Sorrows by Justin Call. This one is the first book in the Silent God series, and all I really know about it is that it is a villain origin story. And I think that this first book at least is set in a magic school where somebody is training to be, I think they're like warrior thieves, the elite that come from this school. The thing about this that I find particularly interesting is that at the beginning, the character that you're following that is eventually going to become the villain actually seems like the hero. I've heard the main character in here compared to Fitz from the Realm of the Eldlings, which obviously is like ticking all of the boxes for me. And I love me a villain origin story. I find villains actually so much more compelling than heroes because they tend to be more complex, because people aren't born evil, you know? Something generally happens to people to make them that way. And I think that if you have a very good, well thought out 3-dimensional villain with solid motivations, then you're definitely onto a winner. And then the final book that I'm going to be talking about is actually the one that I'm the most, I don't want to say that because I don't want to go into this book with unrealistic expectations, especially because I do plan on reading it soon, and I feel like if I put it on a pedestal, then I'm just not going to give it 5 stars. But the one that I feel has excellent vibes is The Will of the Many by James Islington. So this one, I actually don't know anything about it. Should I look? Okay, so the reason why I believe that I'm going to enjoy this is because it is inspired by the Roman Empire and also has been compared to Red Rising. So that is literally all I know about it, and I have just read the synopsis for the very first time, and I'm getting the Red Rising comparisons even more now. And it also is set in an academy, which gives it more potential to be 5 stars because we just love those settings. They're just so good. The thing that I hate though is that we eventually graduate out of the academy, because the academy or the magic school or whatever is always the best part. But this is following somebody who is joining this academy. They've told everyone that they were orphaned and that they want to dedicate themselves to becoming whatever it is you become at this academy. But it says that the truth is that they've been sent to the academy to find answers, to solve a murder, to search for an ancient weapon, and to uncover secrets that may tear the Republic apart. So sign me up. So that was pretty rapid fire, but that was 5 of my newest 5-star predictions. Whenever I manage to fulfill one of the old ones, I will bring you guys a reaction video. It's actually really interesting because obviously I know at this point the ones that I've read, not all of them were 5 stars, but hopefully at some point I will finish one of those lists soon so that I can bring you an update. But this one, I do honestly think it's going to be a while before I can revisit this, because am I going to be starting Master? I could start this one because there's only 2 books out and then I could keep on top of it. You know what? This is actually doable because a lot of these, all of these are pretty new releases. So it's not like, I don't know, like if I put The Realm of the Eldlings on here and then I would be starting a 15-book series. This is not that, because only a couple of books in these series are out. So if I could catch up, it would be really easy for me to stay on track. But down in my comments, let me know what your biggest 5-star prediction is right now. But also, if you would like to let me know that you were here but you don't feel that you have anything to say, leave me a star emoji down in the comments. But aside from that, guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram, and Patreon if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as link to my Bookish candle website, the Etsy for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say we'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.